Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to this video titled Real World Problems, Fractions, and the goal for the video is for you to understand how to solve real world problems involving fractions. Makes sense, right? So what I'd like you to do is to get out your math journal, your pencil, and turn to page 103, and we're going to go through a few problems together. So I'll give you some time to get to page 103, and we're going to look at a few example problems of how to solve real world problems involving fractions in today's video. So I'd like you to turn to page 104, and we're going to look at the section that says try practicing dividing a whole number. So we'll take a look at a whole number here, and by a fraction. So a whole number by a fraction to solve a real world problem. So let's take a look at number 1 here. I want you to do this with me as I do this in the video. So it says Miss Martin bought 6 loaves of bread. Why would you ever buy 6 loaves of bread at a grocery store at one time? Apparently she's feeding a number of people, or apparently we just need it for a math lesson. So 6 loaves of bread. She cut each loaf in an equal number of slices for a group of children. Each slice was 3/4 of a loaf of bread, and each child received 1 slice. How many children were in the group? So what we need to do, we need to think about what we're dividing here. So whenever we have a whole of something and we're cutting it into 3/10 of a loaf of bread, for example, that whole number, 6, is going to be our dividend. You can see right here. Because one of the things that a lot of students get mixed up is what's going to be your dividend, what's going to be your divisor. Because if you take 3/10 divided by 6, you're going to get a completely different answer. So understanding what your dividend, what your divisor is important. So whatever you have that you're dividing is going to be your dividend, that first number. What do you divide it by? 3/10. Why 3/10? Because it says each slice was 3/10 of a loaf of bread there. So now what you need to do, we need to think about taking 6 divided by 3/10 and what that's going to do. If you remember, we're going to keep, we're going to change, we're going to flip. So we're going to keep our 6 the same. Flip 3/10 to 10 over 3. All right, so I'll even do it off to the side now. So it's going to be 6 over 1 times 10 over 3. Okay, so what we do now, we just multiply 6 times 10 is 60. 1 times 3 is 3. So that's going to give us 20. So how many children were in the group? We can see that there were 20 children in the group. So again, whenever you're dividing a whole number by a proper fraction or any type of problem that deals with fractions and division, you need to think about what you're dividing first. That's going to be the first number, the dividend. Divisor will be what you're dividing it into, and then your quotient will just be your answer there. Now we're going to take a look at page 105. Let's all turn there. And what this is saying is we're going to look at practicing dividing a proper fraction by a unit fraction to solve real-world problems. Now, when we think about a unit fraction means it has a numerator of 1. You can see 1/9 is a unit fraction because it has a numerator of 1 there. Okay, so we see Shanty had 2/3 liter of water. She used the water to fill glasses completely. The capacity of each glass is 1/9 liters, or liter. How many glasses of water did Shanty fill? All right, so what we have here, we need to think about what are we dividing first of all. Again, that's going to be our 2/3. That's what we're dividing here. So we're going to write 2/3 in your book. What are you dividing it by? We're dividing it by 1/9. Now, why is that? Because we can see she used water to fill glasses completely. The capacity of each glass is 1/9 of a liter. All right, so 2/3 divided by 1/9. If you remember, we're going to keep, we're going to change, we're going to flip. It's going to be 2/3 times 9 over 1, or just times 9. All right, so what we have here, we have 2/3 times 9. I even like to put it over 1 like that. So we have 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, we know 3 can go into 18 6 times. That's going to give us 6. So we have our answer is 6 here. So we can see then that Shanti filled 6 glasses of water. So 2/3 divided by 1/9 is 6. Okay, now let's take a look at page 107. And on page 107, it says we're going to practice dividing a fraction by a whole number to solve multi-step real-world problems. Now, sometimes we think just because we see a whole number, that's going to be the dividend, but that's not necessarily going to be the case all the time. So what we have here for the problem, it says Taylor buys 1 kilogram of beans and gives away 1/4 kilogram. 1/6 of the remaining beans are green and the rest are red. Taylor packs the red beans equally into 10 packs. So let's move down to method 2. We're going to break this problem down. Okay, so first of all, we know that Taylor buys 1 kilogram of beans and gives 1/4 kilogram away. So we have 1 minus 1/4 is 3/4. Okay, where am I getting that 1 and 1/4 from? The 1 is the pack, 1/4 was given away. So now what we have here is that Taylor has 3/4 kilogram of beans left after giving away 1/4 of beans. All right, so we can see also that we have 1/6 of the remaining beans are green and the rest are red. So we got to break this problem down. So we have 1 total pack, 1/6 we can see are green, and then the rest are red. So we have 5/6 here. So how many of the remaining beans are red? 5/6 of the remaining beans are red. So now what we need to do, we need to take 5/6 times 3/4, because we have 5/6 of 3/4 is what we're trying to figure out. Where am I getting my 5/6 of 3/4? I know we have 3/4 of the beans left over, and we also can see the 1/6 of the remaining beans are green and the rest are red. So we can see 5/6 of the 3/4 total, okay, for that would be red. All right, now, so what we see is 5/8 would be represented as red beans there. So the red beans have a total mass of 5/8 of a kilogram. Now, if you remember back to our problem, it says that Taylor packs the red beans equally into 10 packs. So now we figure out how many red beans we have, 5/8 of a kilogram. Now we're going to look at how to pack these into 10 different packs. So we have 5/8 divided by 10. Why 10? Because it's packed into 10 packs. So what that will equal, we have 5/8 times 1/10, because we keep, we change, we flip. Okay, so that represents 5/8 times 1/10. We'll write that in here. We can even do this off to the side. 5 times 1 is 5. 8 times 10 is 80. Okay, and we can simplify this, divide both numerator and denominator by 5. And that's going to give us 1/16. All right, so the mass of red beans in each pack is 1/16 of a kilogram. So now the next question is letter B. Taylor wants to sell 2 kilograms of red beans. How many packs of red beans does she need? So we have our 2 kilograms. It's 1/16 per pack. Okay, so 2 divided by 1/16. Remember, we keep, we change, we flip. It's going to be 2 times 16 over 1, or just 2 times 16. That's going to give us 32. So she needs 32 packs of red beans. So you can see this is a multi-step problem. It can be a little difficult, but it's important just to focus on what they're asking. Keep going back and checking the different numbers that are in the problem, and you can solve this with somewhat ease as long as you're taking your time on this type of problem. Okay, let's take a look at page 110. So it says, practice dividing a whole number by a fraction to solve multi-step real world problem. So last time we had fraction by whole number. This time it's whole number by a fraction. Okay, so we can see Amila buys 75 cups of juice for a party. She uses 2/5 of the juice to make punch. Then she uses the remaining juice to pour single servings that are 5/6 cup each. Okay, so we're going to look at method 2 to solve this problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 and subtract 2/5 from it. Where am I getting that 2/5 from? We can see that she uses 2/5 of the juice to make punch. All right, so that's going to give us 3/5 of the juice left over. So we can see that Amelia uses 3/5 of the remaining juice to make single servings. So what we do now is we take that 3/5 and we're going to multiply it by 75. We need to figure out what is 3/5 of 75. We can see that 3/5 times 75, you can do this right in your calculator. It's going to give you 45 cups there. So Amelia uses 45 cups of the remaining juice to make single servings. Again, we have 3/5 of the juice left over. You can see she buys 75 cups of juice for the party. So we already have 3/5 of 75 is what we got to figure out. And that's going to give us 45 cups remaining. So what we do is we take that 45 cups. We're going to divide it by 5/6. Why 5/6? Because she uses the remaining juice to pour single servings that are 5/6 cups each. So 45 divided by 5/6, that's going to equal 45 times 6/5. Now we multiply 45 times 6/5, that's going to give us 54. And we can see that Amelia pours 54 single servings. So let's take a look at one last problem here. Now let's take a look at number 1 on page 115. So this is saying practice dividing a fraction by a fraction to solve real-world problems. So for number 1, it says 3/4 of the beads in a jar were orange and the rest were yellow. Haley packed the yellow beads equally in the bags. The number of yellow beads in each bag was 1/12 of the total number of beads. How many bags of yellow beads did Haley pack? And there were 72 orange beads. How many yellow beads were in each bag? So let's take a look at method 2 to solve this problem. So we have 1 representing the beads that were bought. Okay, so the beads in the jar. We know 3/4 in a jar were orange and the rest were yellow. Okay, so what we have here, we take the 1, subtract 3/4, and that's going to give us 1/4. 1/4 of the beads in the jar were yellow. And then what we have after this, we can see that we're going to take 1/4 and divide it by 1/12. Why is that? Because it says the number of yellow beads in each bag was 1/12 of the total number of beads. So we take that 1/4, divide it by 1/12. Remember, we change, we flip. The 1/4 stays the same, multiplication, and this goes to 12/1. So now what we have is we have 1/4 times 12, or 12/1, is going to give us 3. So it says Haley packed 3 bags of yellow beads. Now it says the number of beads in each unit, because we're trying to figure out there were 72 orange beads, how many yellow beads were there in each bag. So we can see that number of beads in each unit, we can take that 72. Where's that 72 coming from? We can see there were 72 orange beads. And we're going to divide that by 3. Okay, Haley packed 3 bags of yellow beads. Okay, and that's going to give us 24. So now we're going to take that 24 number of beads in each unit. We're going to divide it by 3. Okay, Haley packed 3 bags of yellow beads, so divide that by 3, and that's going to be 8. So we can see that there were 8 yellow beads in each bag. So once again, it's important that these multi-step problems, that you keep looking back at what they're asking you, staying focused on that, thinking about what do you know, what are you trying to find out. So those are very important steps. So this concludes the video on solving real-world fraction problems. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.